And a way you could get around that, perhaps, especially if it were a smaller deal like we were talking about earlier, if you could find some people who'd be interested in just being a debt partner for you. Okay, look, yeah, I'll come in and I'll give you whatever the number is, $500,000 at 6% interest. Well, fine, just get them to come in, give them their 6% interest, let them have the mortgage, do your rehab, do whatever it is you're doing, and then, take it from there. That would be one solution that you could do in that direction, not have to syndicate. Because two, when you syndicate, it gets a little more spendy because you are hiring the SEC attorney, and they are not typically cheap. As I said, the last deal that we just did, between the purchase and sale agreement attorney and the LLC setup attorney and the SEC attorney that we had to put in all the paperwork, it was like $27,000 just in attorney's fees for 152 units. So it gets spendy. So if you're going to have to go that direction, you might have to weigh the option of, is it worth syndicating it as well? It might be better to do a debt structure on it. Even if you had to pay them a little more, as long as your numbers worked. So, yeah, go ahead.
How do you manage a relationship with your investment lawyer? In the deal, do they require reports every month?
What we like to do is we send quarterly checks. We pay quarterly. It's not monthly. That's a real paperwork nightmare. So right up front, we tell them, look, we're going to pay your returns to you quarterly. And what I like to do is just have a little one, like the highlight sheet that Sue talks about. I like to put a little, newsletter or a little letter together that says, hi, happy quarter. Here's your check-ins closed. It represents a 9.5% return for you. We're really happy. The property's performing well. By the way, we had rent increases this month or this quarter of approximately this amount compared to what it was before. We went ahead and fixed 2 staircases on building number 4. We had a little problem with parking spot, whatever's going on, a little blurb, because most people really not going to read that anyway. As long as you're paying them the check that they want to see, the letter will go in the garbage. But some people do get all detailed and want to know everything. And if they do, they'll probably call you. But honestly, in any of the deals I've ever done, I rarely get called. If I do, it's like, where's my K1? At tax time. Because we're always running late for some reason. Warning on that one. If you get into a syndicated deal and it comes around to the first of the year, you better start working on your tax forms as soon as possible because it always gets delayed. Okay, looks like we're getting ready to wrap up, so I can do one more question, and then I guess we're calling it a day. Is that what we're doing? Yeah. Okay. So who wants the famous last question? Or did we answer them all? Oh, okay, good.
I'm deciding whether to bid or not this week on multifamily units. And what happened is it's the 12 unit and 2 are vacant, and it's cash flowing apparently very well.
Okay.
I managed to get the senior vice president for lending for that bank.
Uh-huh.
I have a meeting with him 2 days ago. He told me, even based on our discussion, that he would be willing to finance, take back the loan.
Okay.
But the problem I'm having is the auction company called me, asked them first whether it was possible to visit the property. They say no. Then they change their mind and say we could visit it. It was 2 days ago, but you can only visit the 2 vacant property in the machinery room, which I found a little bit surprising.
And that was the auction company that made that decision?
Well, yes.
Not the bank.
So I got a broker who went with the general contractor, and they tried to estimate how much, the unit might need to be replaced
Okay.
in the worst case scenario. So they came out with 2,500 per unit, which is a $25,000 addition. I know that Sue says that whenever you don't have the number, you try to take a discount. But how much of a discount can you take and make your bidding still valuable? Because otherwise you might just discount you for $50,000.
Right. Well, they're taking back loan. How much of the loan are they taking back?
That hasn't been discussed because I point that depending on the rates they're going to give me, because I have different financing resources, I might come back to them or not.
Okay.
So I'm not basing it on.
Have they given you, so they haven't given you any kind of loan to value?
No, they told me they would be 75, 80%.
Okay, so they're still expecting you to come in with the 20, let's say 25% down.
But there is a $45,000
Well, since you haven't been able to get negotiating with the rate, then what I would do is either ask them for that credit if you can figure it out. I mean, I'm surprised they won't let you take a look at it if they're willing to hold the loan or whatever. That's very strange. Have you ever heard of that? It's a 12-unit building. The bank he's talking to the bank. It's an REO, is it?
Yes, it will be, yes, the bank.
Okay. And they're saying they're going to take back at least 75% of the financing, but they won't let him go in and take a look at the building, he's saying. And they haven't given him any rate. And so my thought process is either kind of say, look, I really need to get in and take a look at it. This is really something that I want to continue with. Or I would say, hey, if it's going to be this much per unit, maybe have your contractor friend write up something, go back and say, look, this is what we estimate it's going to cost to fix the problem, the rest of the problems on the property, so I need this out of the price, or I need you to give me the terms that will give me that.
Okay, because the bank gonna be bidding also on Thursday. The auction is on Thursday, there will be an auction.
Oh, it's an auction.
It's the auction.
Oh,
So the bank will be bidding also, probably they have the minimum they want to get.
okay, so it's not, that's why, because it's an auction. Okay, I didn't understand that it was actually an auction. I thought you were getting it directly from the bank. I'm sorry. Okay.
It was an auction, but because I knew which bank had held the note.
Okay.
What I did was, I called the bank and managed to talk.
I see. Okay.
I got a suggestion.
Okay.
Send a contractor friend over, tell him to go knock the doors and say that they might be owning the property and they wanna know from the tenants what kind of repairs are needed in their units.
Yeah.
You know, what are they gonna do? Arrest you?
Yeah. Because it's not you doing it. Maybe try that. Well, I mean, you're looking at $2,500 a unit roughly for all the units, so $25,000. Do you think at your price that would make you be overpaying? It's not going to cash flow at that level?
Because I'm gonna bid, I'll know Monday from the broker what will be the maximum MAO I'm gonna maximum offer or make.
So you haven't even made your final offer then?
No, because it's the auction, so the auction will be.
Oh, okay. Well, then what I would do is I would take that out of your offer.
Only thing I know is was a $500,000 loan, I think was interest only 3 years ago. Now the property is, assessed as about 300,000. But the county say usually they assess the property at 60% value, which is quite surprising. Usually they do the opposite. So
Yeah. Well, you can't really go by the what the tax assessment is, because that'll always be different than what, I mean, it's good to know, but I would say figure out what you figure the real cash flow is going to be on that on a real rate if they don't give you the information. Make sure you're well enough below that margin with your vacancy rates in the proper level and whatever, and then make your offer on with that. Less the amount you think of the repairs that are going to be needed. And if you hit that level and somebody outbids you, let it go. Don't overbid. Yeah, I mean, you might as well find a better deal that you have more control over what's going on, because you don't know. You got a lot of unknowns there. Okay, perfect. Well, thank you, everybody. We really appreciate it.